Slum 1200 GGI Mob, and I'm back. Slum 1200 GGI Mob, and I'm back. Slum 1200 GGI Mob, and I'm back. Back.
Put a loaf of bread on your head like I was baby now. Niggas say they pull up and spray, wasn't no saving now. Shit, I'm out here trapping, no capping, trying to feed my baby now. Yeah, I keep the 50, you dig your grave, I'ma lay you in. I ain't with the back and forth beefing all on the internet. I'ma catch you lacking in traffic, nigga, and leave you there. Shit, I know some niggas will cut you, split you from ear to ear. Cutthroat to the gristle, my nigga, rest in peace, Soldier Slim. DIB, nigga disrespect, they gon' DIE.
Slum 1200 GGI Mob shit, and I'm back. Got my brother B8 1100 in here, you already know what it is. And we gonna be talking about Manny Chulpayev.
This is a story about a murder. The murder of an Atlanta rapper called Lil Fat.
It's out of Fulton County, where police are on the hunt for the person who shot and killed a man outside a local hospital.
It happened inside a parking deck outside the labor and delivery wing of Northside Hospital. And as soon as they heard the shots, hospital officials put that building on lockdown. CBS Atlanta's Katie Brace has been following this breaking news all night.
Stephanie, Northside Hospital lifted its lockdown. Now, this hospital is known as the baby hospital, but tonight officers were outside its front doors looking into a potential murder. Turned out to be a murder. Officers have since recently cleared the scene, and they say although the area is safe, they are still looking for the shooter. For 2 hours, Northside Hospital was on lockdown.
In a case like this, when there's a potential shooting on the campus, we lock down all the hospital facilities. No people are allowed to leave or enter the building.
Police say a man was shot multiple times. He was in his car on the second level of this parking deck. Witnesses told police at least 2 people ran from the scene. Officers say there is no information that ties the victim or shooter to the property as a worker, visitor, or patient. Officers searched the hospital before letting people leave and come back in.
So everybody needs to feel very comfortable that they're safe. The area has been secured. It has been searched completely and thoroughly.
The man who was shot was taken from the parking deck into Northside Hospital. Police say he was pronounced dead shortly later.
What you know about slanging fathers and rollers, and what you know about getting rentals just to fill them up with shoulders.
I termed it an assassination.
And about a high-living former Russian mobster turned FBI informant.
85,000.
Manny Chulpayev, accused in the murder of Lil Fat, something he strongly denies.
There is no reason to be afraid of me. I'm the nicest guy you'll ever meet.
And about the FBI agent in the Atlanta office who was Chulpayev's handler, Dante Jackson, now under investigation by the FBI itself after allegations he obstructed the murder case while receiving extravagant gifts from his informant.
It's nice to have an FBI agent that's looking over your shoulder, I guess.
Our ABC News Nightline investigation into all this began months ago in Fort Lauderdale, a place where people come to have fun, and where a party van cruising down A1A seemed to fit right in, which is why we chose to use it.
There he goes. There he is.
As the perfect cover for an undercover camera surveillance team to get footage of Chulpayev, a 35-year-old Soviet emigre who we were told was involved in a huge criminal operation. A man with a well-documented record of ruthless violence as a Russian mafia boss in New York.
Beat up people, had terrorist mindset, threatening, extorting, kidnapping, muggings, torturing people.
New York lawyer Ben Brathman came to know Chulpayev well when he cross-examined him about his crimes.
How bad was he?
On a scale of 1 to 10, probably 100. Pimping young women who were kept captive and threatening to kill their families in the Soviet Union if they didn't work as prostitutes. You name the crime, he did it.
For all his criminal convictions, Chulpayev could be serving life in prison or at least deported to Russia. But he is not. Instead, we found him leading a life of luxury and fancy cars in South Florida. One day in a red Ferrari, the next day a silver Mercedes, the next a top-of-the-line Range Rover. All thanks to the FBI and federal prosecutors, who again and again have protected him and kept him on the street as an informant and government witness.
He was very smart. He's managed to play the system for years and years.
I need these people out of here right now.
And as we found when we first approached him, Manny Chulpayev is not someone who likes to be challenged.
We're from ABC News.
I don't care where you're from. We need to get the out of here.
You know the allegations against you, sir.
I don't care about that.
Well, he hasn't changed much.
I don't answer to you. I answer to a judge and a lawyer.
The same arrogance, same tough guy.
You need to get the out of my property right now.
We want to ask you.
But just a few weeks later, we saw the other side of Chulpayev as he invited us back for a spin around town in a black Maserati and some spin on what an honest fellow he has become.
My father maybe thought that I would grow up to be a nice Jewish boy, maybe one day, I don't know. He had hopes.
Amidst almost $2 million worth of luxury cars, including a $500,000 Rolls Royce, Chulpayev set out to try to talk his way out of his latest troubles and allegations. That protected by the FBI, he had returned to his violent criminal ways.
How can we rely on anything you're saying?
How can you rely? Because I'm saying it, because I stand behind what I say.
But you have lied a lot.
I have lied to the government, yes.
I mean, were you a thug? Is that fair to say?
No, I wasn't a thug. I was just not afraid. It's two different things.
Chulpayev came to the United States in 1989 as a 12-year-old.
16 years old, I had my first Mercedes-Benz, so, I went to school just to show off, not to, not to study.
And by his own later admission in a National Geographic documentary, the teenage hoodlum quickly became a major organized crime terror in New York, ultimately making millions of dollars.
Just so I have my background straight, what have you been convicted of?
I was convicted of, running being in an organized crime group back in the days.
Arson?
Arson.
Kidnapping? Extortion?
To be exact, conspiracy to all that.
Fire marshals are investigating a fire.
Convicted as one of the men behind the arson that destroyed this huge supermarket.
This morning it went to 3 alarms.
But to avoid a long prison term or deportation, Chulpayev quickly made a deal to cooperate with the government and the FBI and rat out his partners in crime.
You were convicted of crimes that could have put you in prison for life.
Yes.
Could have led to your deportation.
Yes.
None of that happened.
Yes, of course none of that happened because
Why?
I cooperated.
You took the FBI's way out?
I took my way out, yes.
At the time, the FBI and federal prosecutors said Chulpayev was one of the most important witnesses ever against the Russian mob.
See the wording? Yeah.
Now, despite his tattoo, the FBI informant says he does have one regret.
Given your background, did it bother you to be known as a snitch, as a rat?
Of course. It still bothers me.
But you are.
Till this day.
But it worked. After his testimony, he was set free, moved to Atlanta, and promised protection by the FBI. That was 2002.
Who was the Atlanta man hiding these stolen cars?
Just 3 years later, Chulpayev was back to his criminal ways, caught in a luxury stolen car ring operating in Georgia, South Carolina, and Ohio. Chulpayev was arrested, convicted, but served less than 3 years because he agreed to testify against others in the stolen car ring.
How many strikes do you think you deserve?
I deserved one strike.
Well, you got one strike, and then you got a second strike.
Okay. So I got lucky.
That was 2005. Fast forward to this year, and again allegations. It's the same old story with Chulpayev, back to his criminal ways, selling stolen cars, and worse, with victims saying he was still being protected by the government.
He's untouchable.
One of the many alleged victims we heard about, Travis Jones and his wife Elizabeth, say Chulpayev cheated them by selling them a stolen car. Not only was Jones briefly taken into custody for driving a stolen car, but he's out the $10,000 cash he says he gave Chulpayev.
You can't drive it.
No.
But when Jones filed a police report in his hometown of Roswell, Georgia, he says he was told by local police that their hands were tied, that the FBI was protecting Chulpayev.
They told me that he is involved with other agencies and that they're using him right now and that he can't be arrested.
So he's being protected?
Correct.
I want to talk to you about some of your car deals, sir.
I don't know what you want to talk about. There's no comments. And
in fact, when the ABC station in Atlanta, WSB-TV, did a story about Chulpayev and the alleged stolen car ring earlier this year, reporter Jim Strickland says he got an unusual call from the FBI in Atlanta just a half hour after this confrontation with Chulpayev at his business.
I've been doing this 32 years. It's never happened before. It's got to tell you something.
What does it tell you?
It tells me that Manny was interwoven with the FBI in Atlanta deeply enough so that he can make one phone call and they're instantly calling me to find out exactly what the story is.
And it turns out that the story is that a criminal the FBI twice helped keep out of prison is now accused of felony murder, something we learned only after this interview.
You were a serious criminal connected to Russian organized crime. You testified for the FBI. They put you back on the street and you broke the law again. That's the record.
Okay, so what's the point?
The point is, you have criminal ways that don't seem to go away.
That's not true. That's not true. I'm just smarter than you, and that's it. I'm an average guy that thinks ahead. And that's what it is. And people can't stand that. Stupid people can't stand that. Smart people, they work with me.
But as we saw,
And they're going in.
heavily armed federal agents and police swarmed into his Florida business. Chulpayev may not be quite as smart as he thinks he is. When we come back. As we roared around Fort Lauderdale in a black Maserati, the man behind the wheel, Manny Chulpayev, was doing all he could to persuade me he was no longer a ruthless Russian mobster protected by the FBI.
You know, don't just go slander somebody just because of my past. Don't use my past as your wild card. You know what I mean?
And back at his luxury car business, Chulpayev denied he was dealing in stolen cars or doing anything illegal.
Can you sit here now and say you're not involved in any ongoing criminal activity?
Most definitely.
Nothing whatsoever?
Nothing whatsoever. Most definitely.
But only a few weeks later,
And they're going in.
heavily armed police and federal agents raided Chulpayev's operation and took him into custody. He is now indicted by a grand jury in Georgia, along with 4 other men, on charges of murder, felony murder, and street gang activity.
In possession of a firearm by a convicted felon.
The murder victim was Melvin Vernell, popular Atlanta rapper using the name Lil Fat. Lil Fat was murdered in June of last year, outside the hospital where his fiancée was about to give birth.
He was shot multiple times next to his car in the parking deck.
Authorities contend that at the same time Chulpayev was serving as an informant for the FBI, he helped arrange the murder of the rapper by tracking the victim's vehicle for the accused triggermen with a GPS device.
This defendant actually tracked the vehicle on over 11 occasions and provided that tracking information to the other 2 defendants who ultimately killed and shot the victim there at the hospital.
In court last week in Atlanta, Chulpayev's lawyer, George Plamides, said his client was not involved in the murder and that as an FBI informant, he had kept his FBI agent and handler fully informed.
Everything goes through the handler. And so basically the handler delivered Manny to the FBI headquarters and he debriefed him. And he told him everything that he knew about the tracking devices.
But then the prosecutor said, in fact, Chulpayev had essentially conned the FBI by lying about his involvement to his handler.
And he went into the FBI on July 30th of 2012, some 6 weeks after our victim was murdered. And he lied to the FBI. He lied to federal agents. He did not cooperate with the state. And the evidence will show that he has done nothing but lie about his involvement in this murder. So it's simply not true that he is a cooperating witness with the FBI or the state when it comes to this matter.
And adding to the intrigue, according to Georgia authorities and the lawyer, is the role of the FBI agent who was Chulpayev's handler. Chulpayev's lawyer says the agent asked for lavish gifts and cash from Chulpayev, and then tried to block local detectives investigating Chulpayev in the murder case.
So the FBI agent was obstructing the investigation of a murder?
That's my opinion, and it is of Manny's as well.
According to the lawyer, the FBI agent asked for the best tickets to see the Miami Heat basketball team play.
Great play by Wade!
And also asks, says the lawyer, for expensive watches, the use of luxury cars, VIP entrance to exclusive nightclubs, even $3,500 in cash.
He gave him cash?
Yes.
He gave him hotel rooms?
Yes.
Jewelry?
Yes.
Watches?
Yes.
Fancy cars?
At least $100,000 cars, at least.
For the use of the FBI agent?
Yes. And it was under the assurance that they were for lawful law enforcement practices.
FBI officials say they are taking the allegations against its agent very seriously. The Department of Justice Inspector General and the FBI's own Inspection Division are both investigating, according to what officials told ABC News in this statement. Be assured that the FBI holds every one of our 36,000 employees to the highest standards, and when an allegation of misconduct arises, it is taken seriously and addressed, the statement reads. It would hardly be the first time an FBI agent and an informant have been accused of crossing the strict legal lines. Most prominently, Boston mob boss Whitey Bulger, accused of giving gifts to FBI agents for years as they looked the other way when he allegedly killed rivals.
Yeah, but that's part of the criminal justice system. You know, there are thousands of people in the witness protection program who were very serious criminals, and now they have new identities and they have new jobs, and many of them turn their lives around. But the bad part is, on occasion, it doesn't work. I knew that Manny Chulpayev would be out on the street after the cases were over.
You got it?
He was a player. He was a street guy. It's hard to take someone like that and say, okay, you've signed a cooperation agreement, now go out there and work in an office, filing paper. It's, just not in his blood.
Manny Chulpayev says being an FBI informant had nothing to do with his life of luxury and fast cars, that he would have been better off serving his time in prison.
I don't think I got a better end of the deal, Being the situation reversed, I would have took my chances. I would have probably got convicted, but I would have probably served my time and not lived the life that I'm living now.
Why do you call it that?
Why do I call it what?
Why is your life so objectionable to you?
One reason, me and you are sitting here talking. That's one reason.
It looked like they had a real good relationship.
This is my homie Mel Jr., one of my good customers.
Reality TV cameras roll at a Metro car business.
AKA Lil Fat, by the way, who go by the rap name in ATL.
It's a pilot about colorful Atlanta car dealer Manny Chulpayev. His customer, rapper Lil Fat, was shot dead weeks later in a Northside Hospital parking deck in a Chulpayev car.
Lil Fat would be doing dealings with somebody that was mob affiliated, but was a DEA informant at the same time.
Chulpayev, a government informant and former Russian mobster, is accused of being in on the killing. He got me the video weeks after granting me a jailhouse interview.
You got to look at the history. You got to look at everything that happened before the murder.
Chulpayev says the video shows how valuable Fat was as a customer. He's showing the rapper a new Audi and working a deal on a touring vehicle.
New Yukon. I'll just lease one for you and a low payment, so you guys have a new car on the road.
But Chulpayev admitted to me he was no fan of Lil Fat.
I don't lie about this. If I don't like you, I don't like you. It's that simple.
Chulpayev's business partner, Decensae White, is also accused in a murder deemed a revenge hit over stolen drugs. Chulpayev says he was not part of it.
Lil Fat wasn't even in my mind. That's one thing I can promise you. That's one thing I can take polygraph test on.
There was supposed to be a trial here at Fulton County Superior Court this week, but it's been pushed back until early next year at the request of Chulpayev's lawyers. Reporting in downtown Atlanta, Jim Strickland, Channel 2 Action News.
More details now. A gunman shot rapper Lil Fat, whose real name was Mervyn Vernell III, outside Northside Hospital in June of 2012. He was there waiting for his fiancée to give birth. Chulpayev says that he was conducting FBI surveillance on two other suspects in the case. Federal authorities demoted Chulpayev's FBI handler during the investigation.
Decensae White, a once budding local athlete, is now in jail charged with killing an emerging rap star. NBC Barry's Marianne Favreau joins us live with new details and reaction from White's father, Marianne.
Well, Decensae White, the murder that he's accused of happened nearly a year ago in June of last year. He is accused of murdering a rapper. And he is well known in the Bay Area sports world. He played at two different universities here, including Santa Clara University. It was this amazing shot from beyond half court that brought San Francisco State basketball player Decensae White nationwide attention. Now the basketball star is getting attention for something that happened off the court. White is accused of murdering a man in Georgia. U.S. Marshals arrested him April 24th in Pacifica.
Mr. White was arrested in our county, and we filed, the district attorney's office, a felony fugitive proceeding against him in court. That's extradition proceedings.
White was transported back to Georgia in mid-May after waiving his right to fight extradition. He's accused of murdering a rapper known as Lil Fat on June 7th in a parking garage in Sandy Springs, Georgia, near Atlanta. At least 4 other men have been charged in the case. In a phone interview with White's father, David, he said, "We are in total shock right now. He is the most nonviolent person I have ever known in my life. This is beyond anyone's comprehension." White has ties to several Bay Area basketball teams. He played for Junipero Serra High School in San Mateo and was named San Mateo County Player of the Year in 2006. No one from the school would comment about White's arrest. He played a few months at Santa Clara University and then went on to play at San Francisco State University, where he just finished his senior season. White also once roomed with San Francisco 49er wide receiver Michael Crabtree while the two were at Texas Tech. Now White will be back in a different court on May 31st in Georgia to respond to accusations he's a murderer.
New at 4, a federal judge says the FBI had no role in the death of an Atlanta rapper. The victim's girlfriend had sued the government on grounds an FBI informant was in on the killing. Channel 2's Jim Strickland is live at federal court to break down this case. Jim?
Carol, 4 years after the death of rapper Lil Fat, questions have lingered as to whether the FBI and one of its agents' confidential informants had anything to do with it. Well, the judge in this ruling said the FBI had no control over that informant. In fact, just the opposite.
One of my good customers.
The informant, convicted mobster turned Atlanta car dealer Manny Chulpayev. His client in the footage, murder victim Lil Fat. Chulpayev's clients were often drug dealers whom he'd keep tabs on for the FBI.
There was a complete indifference with the FBI of what happens to people as a result of their informants' actions.
A hit crew had used Chulpayev's GPS trackers to find and kill Lil Fat at Northside Hospital in 2012. Chulpayev told me in a jailhouse interview several federal agencies had his GPS passcode.
They all knew how to log into my service because that's how they track their customers.
Attorney Lou Robio had argued an FBI agent's use of Chulpayev encouraged the use of the tracking devices, which were key to finding and killing the rapper.
They did not care. It was make a case. Who cares what happens to anyone?
But Judge Thomas Thrash ruled Chulpayev was acting of his own free will without control from the FBI.
Look, them niggas going to the school. See, now we in this bitch. Now we gotta go to school, motherfucker. Hit that bitch, yo. Get his ass. Get him out this bitch. Man, you know they got way around this bitch. Come on, man. You know they got their little police in this bitch. He gonna come to our gas station. Yeah.
Coming up, we had 2 pairs of shoes in the hood. Yo, smelling like outside. Sitting in clothes and bag of weed in his house. And I saw my first body when D killed Black. And I saw my first murder when Mo got wet.
When I was a little boy.
But y'all get in that comment section, man. Hit that like button. Make sure the notifications turned on. Hit that subscribe button. And stay plugged, man. Slum 1200, GGI mob shit. Got my brother B 1100. You already know what it is. Niggas dying for the bucks and the glory. True story. Trying to make a meal before they see 30. True story. Gotta get it, living life in a hurry. Get rich or die trying till the day that they bury. True story. Niggas dying for the bucks and the glory. True story. Trying to make a meal before they see 30. True story. Gotta get it, living life in a hurry. Get rich or die trying till the day bleed the streets, I am the struggle. I bleed the streets, I am the struggle. I bleed the streets, I am the struggle. Play the cuts like peroxide, waiting to bubble. Still trapping with this rapping, yeah, I'm going in. Trying to murder everything, even the pad and pen. No witnesses, no survivors. Red Cross, Glock fire, hot lava. Head